Syria's UN envoy reiterates calls for the Security Council to condemn the governments of states that support terrorism and compel them to abide by relevant United Nations resolutions. And military operations against terrorist organizations continue throughout the country, with terrorists suffering heavy losses in lives and weapons. And Putin says Russia will defend its interests and sovereignty and support world stability. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian television in Damascus. The United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution that stipulates for the permanent sovereignty of the Palestinian people in the occupied Palestinian territories and of the Arab population in the occupied Syrian Golan over their natural resources. The resolution was adopted by voting 165 states in favor, 6 against, including Israel, United States, Canada, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Palau, while 9 states abstained. The resolution reaffirmed the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people and of the Arab people of the occupied Syrian Golan over their natural resources, including land, water, energy, and other resources, and demanded that Israel, the occupying power, cease the exploitation, damage, cause of loss, or depletion of and endangerment of the natural resources in the occupied territories. The United Nations General Assembly also has nearly unanimously approved a resolution urging Israel to pay Lebanon compensation to cover the cleanup cost of an oil spill caused in 2006 by an Israeli airstrike on oil storage tanks during the war with Lebanon. Syria's permanent representative to the United Nations, Bashar al-Jafari, reiterated calls for the Security Council to condemn the governments of states that support terrorism and compel them to abide by relevant resolutions, specifically counter-terrorism resolutions.
In a statement delivered at the United Nations Security Council, Syria's permanent representative, Bashar al-Jafari, said that the threats to international peace and security posed by international terrorism and organized crime wouldn't have become so grave if terrorist organizations hadn't been linked and bound by interests with governments of states that chose terrorism as a course and tool in their foreign policy. He called upon UN member states and relevant organizations to increase international and regional efforts and cooperation to eliminate terrorism and stop their sponsors. He noted that Syria repeatedly reported the various acts committed by terrorist organizations, primarily ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra, which include extracting and selling petroleum, which belongs to Syria and Iraq, stealing and trading in archaeological artifacts, dismantling factories and transporting their machinery to Turkey, abduction and hostage-taking, and human trafficking of women and children. Al-Jafari said that throughout 3 years, 3 permanent Security Council members prevented the United Nations from taking any practical steps to confront terrorism. Al-Jafari said that the EU recently took steps to prevent Syrian civilian airlines from procuring fuel, which is an irresponsible and illegal behavior that violates the International Civil Aviation Organization. He went on to say that the EU refrained from taking any action about stolen Syrian archaeological artifacts, which were smuggled to Europe, referring to recent statements to the Times newspaper by the Europol former deputy director and the commander of the Belgian Federal Police, which revealed that dealers in the West are now dealing with ISIS directly, while before they employed brokers to buy artifacts stolen from the Middle East. Al-Jafari reiterated the Syrian delegation's demand that the Security Council condemn the governments that support terrorism, primary among which are Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, in addition to pressuring these governments to cease their destructive practices, holding them accountable and forcing them to abide by relevant Security Council resolutions on counter-terrorism. Syria's permanent representative concluded the statement by referring to an important report issued in Washington recently under the title Qatar and Terror Finance, which tackles Qatar's support for terrorism not only in Syria but also around the world.
Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said that Turkey might start training and equipping the terrorists of the so-called moderate opposition in Syria next March. The new Turkish move reflects the meeting between the terrorist interests and the interests of the regime of Recep Tayyip Erdogan and the United States, which invented the name of moderate opposition in an attempt to conceal the reality of the terrorists and support them with funds and weapons. Earlier, a Turkish and American side reached an agreement to train the so-called moderate rebels on Turkish territories with the help of American military experts. In Daraa, Syrian Arab Army units eliminated a number of terrorists, including a leader in Jabhat al-Nusra, who is called Abu Turab al-Sheikh in al-Sheikh Maskin town. Syrian Arab Army units also killed terrorists and destroyed an ammunition warehouse in Tel Selmo and other villages in Idlib's countryside after the terrorist infiltration attempt against military checkpoints in Ariha area. While in Deir ez-Zor, Syrian Arab Army units detonated an armored vehicle that belonged to ISIS terrorist organization in Beit Dughman, which led to the killing of several terrorists. Army units and armed forces eliminated terrorists in Hama eastern countryside. A military source mentioned that the army carried out a qualitative operation against the terrorist organization dens in Jana al-Albawi village, killing and injuring dozens of them. The source added that several dens with their arms, ammunition and their criminal tools were destroyed in the operation. The British Daily Telegraph newspaper revealed that the eastern part of London is considered a stronghold to the gatherings that included men and women who recruit youth that support ISIS terrorist organization as they help them to infiltrate into Syria. The paper reported that the British Qui William Organization for Fighting Extremism is aware of the existence of such groups that provides passports and facilitations to teenage girls and transfer them to Syria. The paper clarified that the terrorists are giving financial incentives to the teenagers to marry them in Syria, as they transfer small amounts of money via money transfer companies such as Western Union Company to pay the travel costs of these young girls. The Russian Foreign Ministry asserted real evidences about using toxic materials in Syria by the ISIS organization. The ministry added that during its continuous work with the Chemical Weapons Prohibition Organization, the OPCW, the Syrian government has given important information telling that the extremist terrorists have stolen many industrial establishments containing chlorine materials, hoping that the organization may take into account this information concerning using the chlorine gas as a chemical weapon in Syria by ISIS. And in Iraq, security forces of Salatin Governorate, with the assistance of the public forces, started a military operation for freeing the western areas of the Governorate, whereas the security forces eliminated 30 ISIS terrorists. One of them is a leader named Abu Sadiq al-Hishmawi. During their operations in the western areas, as they also destroyed 3 vehicles belonging to terrorists. The Australian police today has formally identified 8 children who were found dead in a woman's house in the Cairns suburb of Manora. The children were 4 girls and 4 boys, ranged in age from 2 to 14 years, while the Australian woman was arrested for murder and the killing of 8 children, 7 of whom are believed to be her own, and she is recovering in a hospital from stab wounds. The week before, a gunman took 17 people hostage inside a downtown Sydney cafe on Monday, killing 2 of them and raising the flag of ISIS. Mother Superior of St. Jacob Convent, Fadia al-Laham, stressed that the International Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in Syria is very selective and not independent at all, as it follows certain political agendas. Today we sent a strong message to the committee and we stopped all our dealings with it, because it benefits from our existence to justify its comprehensiveness. It is not just in conveying the violations of human rights to the international community. Mother al-Laham added that the committee hides many facts from the international community, such as the acts of sabotage in Adra Industrial City and many other violations of human rights in areas which are the strongholds of the armed terrorist organizations, saying that a delegation from the Imperial Orthodox Palestine Society and from St. Jacob Convent will head for Geneva, carrying with it white book which confounds the dear canons of acts of terrorist organizations against innocent victims in Syria and Iraq, and the outrageous foreign interference in Syria's affairs in a way that creates and supported terrorism. Mother al-Laham indicated that the White Book has been prepared in cooperation between the St. Jacob Convent and the Imperial Society, assisted by related bodies. She said that her meeting with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov on Friday was in the framework of consultations between him and the Imperial Orthodox Palestine Society, adding that they have tackled all projects carried out in Syria by the Society and the St. Jacob Convent. Russian President Vladimir Putin stressed his country's ability for developing a strategic nuclear force, considering it a significant factor for the global balance and a deterrent against any supposed aggression. During a meeting with the Committee of the Defense Ministry, Putin said that the Russian military doctrine is still defensive despite the high activity of NATO in Eastern Europe. He added that Russia will always defend its sovereignty, as it will support the international stability for all countries, showing that the Russian army will be provided with 50 strategic intercontinental nuclear missiles next year. Saint Ananias is the first bishop of Damascus, a biblical figure still ventured in as a prominent Christian leader of the Apostle Age.
Saint Ananias is the first bishop of Damascus, a biblical figure still venerated as a prominent Christian leader of the Apostolic Age. Oriental tradition, according to the Greek mythology, confirmed that Ananias was one of the 72 disciples chosen by Jesus following the stoning to death of the deacon. Regarding the house of Saint Ananias, it has been continuously venerated at the east side of the old city of Damascus, about midway between the two city gates of Bab Tuma and Bab al-Sharqi. From time immemorial it was converted into a church. It was known throughout the ages as the Holy Cross Church.
We are here in Hanania house, who transferred after a house who transfers as a church. And I think this is the oldest church in the world. The Hanania was here with many Christian in the time of Christ in Palestine. And I think they come. The church here was one of the strongest, and the strongest for that Saul, the guy who tried to take the Christian and put them in prison, came to Damascus because the Christianity in Damascus was very strong. And I think and I believe that Christianity is very strong still now in Syria. And for that we find that many strong people try to attack the Syrian people because of their faith and their belief, not only in Christianity. We are in Syria, I think we are all very strong Christianity, and all Muslim religion, and all people are strong.
The house is located underground, which one had access to it by stone steps, as there was a mihrab to the south and an apse towered in the east. The chapel receives light from above through two openings in the vault. Both material and written evidence, as well as oral tradition, seem to prove that the house of Saint Ananias is one of the sites of Roman Byzantine Church of the Holy Cross of the 5th or 6th century. It seems that this was the place of the house of the first bishop of Damascus, the martyr Saint Ananias.
Hanania went to his killer. He believed the vision, and he went to his killer. It was an opportunity to be killed. He went to his killer, but he baptized him. He gave him. He can see again. And this, I want to make a comparison. What the Syrian now is doing, the Syrian now believe in God very well, and they went to the killer, to the guy, to the extremist, to the terrorism, and make with them a reconciliation, make with them a speech, and bring them from killing people, from attacking people, to live again with their brothers in the same country.
In support of Basma Society, a charity marathon was held in Dummar suburb under the title "We Want to Run to Make a Smile," to collect donations for children who developed cancer, with the participation of a large number of volunteers. A closer look in the following.
The aim of the marathon is to make people remember the children who are victims of cancer and offer support for them.
This event in association with Basma. Basma is an association for helping children with cancer. What we did today, we have this marathon to help people, to help children with cancer to survive, in order to raise contributions from all the people here to help children have the medicine and the medication they need.
Hi, we are the team of Yalla Let's Bike initiative, and we just participated with Basma because we believe in Basma. We believe in our social in our social responsibility towards our community. We have something to do for Basma, and we're making something fun for us as a team. Thank you very much.
We're talking about our social responsibility towards other community, concerning raising awareness that we have to use bikes, and also contributing in our responsibilities towards the social activities and cancer support.
Here we are in Damascus. We are running a marathon to support cancer for children. It's for the Basma Foundation. Everyone is here. Everyone is happy. Go Syria.
Well, I'm very proud that we have such an initiative in Syria or in Damascus within this crisis, and I hope it will be repeated again and again. And I find out that a lot of people are ready to do this, but we need somebody who could push us.
Basma Society is a domestic voluntary organization that aims to support children who are suffering from cancer. The society started work in 2005.
With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now, the latest news and market news with Naliman, but after a short break.